Yeah, man.
I know
Pumped.
you're a busy man right now.
Only temporarily.
So we opened up around the same time, 2016 ish,
Yeah.
right? Where you
Yeah.
opened up, built a 900 member gym. And for those listening, I'm not talking about 900 members. I'm talking about 900 training members. So that means like people that you nurture and program individually for. They don't just come in and use your equipment. You're training these people, right? 900 people recently left your location that you've been in,
Yeah.
and are now training people in a tent
Yeah.
in a parking lot as you get your new place built out. I haven't had a chance to catch up with you about any of this really, like since you opened and since you started working with people in the tent. So just like,
Yeah.
how's it going, dude?
Yeah. Well, it's exactly how we drew it up. This was the plan the whole time.
This way?
Can you just move the mic a little
Oh,
closer?
move it. All right, good. All right, go for it.
You want to do that over?
Yeah. So yeah, how's it been going?
Yeah. So it's exactly how we drew it up. We figured we'd be in business for about 9 years, and then we just start training people outside in a tent. It's exactly as we planned. The tent has been awesome, and I think there's three levels of people to think of in this situation. It's number one, the members have been insanely supportive, and I'd like to say that the investment that we've made into them has played a role in this.
Yeah.
But it has been absolutely insane to see how much support we've gotten from them. And when you establish a relationship with your members, it's like sometimes it's contentious. Sometimes it's like the service isn't providing me exactly what I want. So when you hear from them, you'll get compliments every once in a while. You get affirmations that you're doing something well, but they'll frequently be complaining about something. This is an issue. This is an issue. But as soon as the rubber meets the road, when like battle time started for the business, the amount of people that I would get complaints from that were like, you guys are amazing. You guys do everything you possibly can for us. We're with you no matter what. Like you guys could move out of the country and we'll follow you.
Yeah.
Like those type of things, that was a surreal experience. Secondarily was the staff. And I don't want to say second to the members, but I think with the staff, I expected a lot more pushback with what has happened.
Yeah.
Everyone had to take a pay cut because we didn't know what was going to happen revenue-wise. And I had to explain to a team of 12 that the business that we built and the revenue that we're doing is what allowed us to have the payroll and the staff that we had. So we have one of two options. To stay afloat, we have to either fire 25% of our staff or 25% of our staff has to take a 25% pay cut. Which direction do we want to go? And we had a very serious conversation. And I basically had to tell everybody, I was like, I need to know who's on board and who is not. And I'm not saying this to be a jerk. I'm not saying this to be a threat. But I have to move forward with this business. And I need to know which of you are here with me going forward. It's like, I didn't expect this. It's totally reasonable for you guys not to want to move forward. Some of you have been hired in the last 6 months. You weren't here when it was 2016, 2018, when we were going through COVID. And I totally understand if you don't have that emotional attachment to the business the way I do and the way some of the staff that have been here for a long time do. But if I need to know as soon as possible if you are in or if you're out. If you are leaving, I need to know as soon as possible so I can plan around it. If you are in, I'd like to know so we could plan for it. And nobody left. And I mean, I would admittedly say right now, to whomever of the staff is listening to this, I am surprised that nobody left.
Yeah.
Because it was not a great situation.
Sure.
They, moving to the tent, they didn't know what the legal parameters were for them.
Yeah.
Because they signed non-compete agreements that they thought were for Pratt personal training, and then things turned around a little bit, and all of a sudden they're saying, wait, I'm moving with the business that I'm in, and we're being sued by the landlord for trying to stay with the company that we originally decided to work for.
Yeah.
That doesn't really make
Gets
a ton of
tricky.
sense. So having to explain that to them for starters, and then the reasoning for the pay cut, and then tell them like, oh, and by the way, please work as hard as you possibly can to talk to all of our fence-sitting members to try to get them to come try us out 15 minutes away in a tent, and try to explain to them that the tent is going to be in the middle of the summer with 4 cooling fans, and tell them we're going to put down rubber flooring, and tell them there's going to be shade. Like, here are the 5 bullet points you have to hit every time. And if we get to X amount of members, we won't have to take a pay cut. And work the hardest you ever have in your life and be willing to take a pay cut simultaneously. It was the hardest sell that I've had to make to anybody. If there's ever been a great marketing and sales lesson that I've ever had to learn, it's been in these last couple of months, moving a gym of 900 members 15 minutes away into a wedding tent while trying to keep my entire staff.
How many people ended up coming over with you?
540.
Crazy. Dude, that just goes to like, I think that this is something that I learned when I was in between, before I opened here. Like when I left my job, I was like a 6-month window where I had to figure it out. I was like, I'm going out on my own, can't do this anymore. And I was like, all right, well, what happens? Like, I don't have it figured out yet. I don't know where I'm going, how I'm going to open. Like, I got to make some money. Like, what am I going to do? And it's like, all of a sudden you got person here, 5, 6, 7 people. Like, I'll train with you wherever. Like, I'll meet you in a park. And it's like, man, that was when I learned the lesson that, like, the things you think are important to your members, sure, they're probably important. Like, I'm sure that a lot of your members would rather be in a nice facility than in a tent. But the reason why they're with you is because of the relationships you develop and the things that you're able to provide for them, the way that you care for them, right? And like you said, complaints, right? And like, you normally when you hear from a member, especially as an owner, like if you're hearing from a member, it's usually because something's wrong.
Yeah.
And I used to look at it that way too. I look at it a little bit more now as like, well, no, that's literally what we're here for.
Yeah.
We're here because we're problem solvers. Like, they would go to a regular gym if they didn't need problem solvers.
Yep.
Right? So they come to us because they trust in us and we can help them solve whatever problem it is that they have, whether it be a logistical problem or they just need help with something. And that's the relationship that you develop with somebody that it's like, yeah, I would go to war for you. I'll travel 15 minutes and train in a tent in the middle of the summer. Like, oh, by the way, here's 500 of my friends and we're all going to do it too. Like, it just goes to show, like, man, so much of being successful in this field is just taking care of the people that you're working with and like being a great listener, being someone who they feel like they can go to when they have a problem, right? If I don't have people coming to me with things that they want to talk about, I'm starting to think like, man, am I losing that trust, right? So it says a lot about what you guys have done over there and with your team as well. Like the fact that your team like stuck with you and nobody left, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, so far so good. I think what was really interesting was like when we were hitting a point where I was talking to the members a lot and a lot more than I have before, and I was trying to establish relationships with people that in the past 3 years I haven't really talked to much, and I had to give them like the full rundown of everything that's happened, and people were talking to me that I haven't talked to, saying like, I respect your business so much. And I'm thinking back to when I first started in 2016 to 2021, 22, I knew everybody.
Yeah.
And I think if I were to get compliments, it would be like, I respect you because I see you doing this on a daily basis. I see you involved in the operation. And I always thought, I'm gonna lose connection with my members as the business grows. We're gonna have Hillsborough opening up. We're gonna have managers now managing this. We're gonna have a customer service rep. Like, we're gonna have all this stuff, and I'm not going to be customer facing as much. And people aren't gonna know me. They're not gonna respect me. They're not gonna like me. They're gonna think I'm the business guy. And the amount of people that I talked to that I never met that said like, I respect the hell out of what this business has become.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I didn't expect that.
Changes your perception a little bit
100%.
about what people value.
100%.
Because they know it starts from the top.
Yeah.
They know that culture starts ultimately from the top. And the way that your staff, your team, right, the way that people interact with the members, like, that's not an accident. I think people understand that it's not an accident that, oh, you got 12 people here and they're all treating me with the same level of respect. They're all using the same language. They're all treating me with care. That's not just by, like, hiring the right people. Yeah, that goes along with it, but you got to also develop your team to be able to do those things.
Yeah.
So it says a lot.
Yeah.
That says a lot.
I was confident that we would put out a good product somehow. I didn't know it was going to be this good.
Yeah.
Like, we still had the bench setups. We still had the bench stations. We still had the free weights. We still had the same training staff. And I was telling the members, I'm like, what makes us very good is that we customize programs. We're very good at that, and we have great trainers. And it has highlighted that to like the 10th degree.
Yeah.
And I think a big thing was like we had to rewrite every single person's program. So we had to write 540 programs in 3.5 weeks. Oof. and the entire dude, the entire programming staff, like the hours that they put in, and they put those hours in isolation.
Yeah.
Because the rest of like the trainers, they had a few other trainers that played a larger role than what they usually would from a programming standpoint. So there was a little bit of like bullpen assistance, but the business team, myself, Sydney, Kyle, were like, we're out. Like we have to have a meeting every day. We have to go work on all this other stuff to make sure this tent is ready to go. And then we needed Colin,
Yeah.
we needed Rachel, and then a couple others that jumped in. You guys need to write all the programs. And if you guys need help, let us know. And then when we asked them if they needed help, even Jamie, who's running Hillsborough, was like, let me know if you guys need help with programming. They took the whole load and they wrote 540 programs with new circumstances.
With new equipment.
Yeah.
Like you don't really understand how the room's going to flow as well. Like, so there's a lot of unknown. And that's the hardest thing when you're writing a program.
Yeah.
There's unknown involved. You don't know how.
Yeah.
Because if you make one mistake that you kind of take
100%.
to 100, 200
Oh, yeah.
programs,
Oh yeah.
you got to now rewrite those again.
Yep.
Have you run into that
Yep.
at all?
No.
Wow.
We've and we said like our message to the trainers after the programs was more than ever, this is a rough draft.
Yeah.
Like look at these programs, make the necessary adjustments, play around with things. It was like this is very 2016, 17-ish Pratt personal training
Mm-hmm.
when James wrote the programs and he would be on the floor and say, never mind, didn't do that.
Switch it out.
But without the ability to scale the audibles that we would have to make now, we just said like any audible is a good audible as long as you document
Yeah.
it. Like I'm not going to say, hey, why did we switch this exercise to this exercise? Why was the load prescription off? Like it's make sure the members have a great experience, make sure they have a great workout, and be a great trainer and call whatever plays you need to in the moment.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee all the programming will not be 100% on point right now.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
Before you guys left the building, was it like just such a dialed-in system that you didn't really have to do that as much? Everything, like you didn't have to call as many audibles. Did your team have the freedom to, if they needed to?
Yeah, they have the freedom to call the audibles. The programming, what we've realized more and more is the more programming decisions we can make, the better.
Yeah.
So we can keep putting the trainers in better positions to the point that we now have the programmers are even dictating the load prescription, which
Yeah.
can be adjusted.
Right.
But we essentially even went to the point of saying like, all right, we now know how we want to finish a program, what load we want to use, and then we'll do a 5% reduction every couple weeks.
Yeah.
And work backwards from there.
Gotcha.
And like we started programming that way, whereas before it was just program week 1 load prescription and then let the
work
trainers make
up.
the call.
Yeah.
But we're like, if we can let the trainers focus more on delivering the exercise and coaching the exercises and delivering high quality customer service instead of trying to think of another thing like load prescription constantly,
Yeah.
then that's one more thing we could take off their plate. Then I think we'll all be in the best position possible.
That's super interesting because, like, I know here we customize programs as well, right? And one of the things that I'm always harping on my team, granted, we have about 300 members. We don't have 900, right? So it's a little bit different. We have a team of 8 here, 7 coaches. One of the things I'm always discussing with the team and that we're always talking about in our in-services and our meetings is, like, what you got to understand as a coach is that you need to play a different role in each individual's workouts, right? In their routine, in their journey, ultimately, right? And that role will change as you go through, as they go through that journey, right?
Yeah.
So somebody comes in week 1, month 1, it's like, it's a lot of teaching exercises. It's like, this is how you do this well so that it doesn't bother you, or like, oh, you've never seen this before? Let me show you how to do it.
Yeah.
And let's see if this is a trainable exercise for you, right? Where then as they start to progress, now it's like, all right, I know the exercises. Well, your role changes. And I think that coaches sometimes get really stuck in just like continuing to coach the exercises, right? Where it's like, well, no, they learn the exercises.
Yeah.
Now. And now it's like, all right, well, how do we, manage intensities? How do we control tempos? Like, should we be going faster? Should we be going slower? Based on whatever goal it is that we have. Should we be adding weight? Should we be adding a rep? Like, how do I now teach you how to set targets for yourself so that when you walk in, you know exactly what it is that you are supposed to try to do today.
Yeah.
And if you get it, great. If you don't, that's fine too. Well, and when you don't, then what? Right? So, like, we're always talking about that here. I find it interesting that you found a way to kind of systematize that element of coaching a little bit. I find that really interesting.
Yeah.
And it just gets me thinking a little bit, right, as we scale and like as the membership grows, like how do we get a little bit more clear on what our role needs to be in any given session so we're not wearing a bunch of different hats.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
Well, I love the categorization of that because that's like we have the hunger score for our members. It's like if they're a 9 or 10, like they want to be pushed, like whether it's day 1 or day 20, like they don't want to leave with anything in the tank. And then we have like the normal people that generally come in that are 7s, 8s, where it's like push them, don't take them to that crazy place that you decide to go to.
Yeah.
Like, that they're not ready for that. Maybe over time, 2 programs from now. But I love the categorization of this is a person that needs a lot of coaching and a lot of hand holding and a lot of security versus like this is the person where the best thing you could do for them is ask them why they're not trying harder.
Right. It's so interesting in the settings that we work with our members in, right? It's because it's like, and I always say whenever we hire new team members or we're interviewing new team members, it's like this is not an easy place to coach, right? If this is your first coaching gig, like I'm just letting you know as you intern here or whatever the case may be, right? Like not an easy place to coach, right? Like we learned in a one-on-one setting. Right, where it's like 1 hour, you're a chameleon as a personal trainer, right?
Yep.
I mean, for 1 hour, you're one person playing one role, and then the next hour, you got to be able to shift personalities. You got to be able to shift the language that you use, the energy that you bring, and the role that you're playing with that individual based on whatever they need from you, whatever they're asking from you. That's a hard thing to learn when you're doing it hour to hour. To be able to learn how to do that with a session of 6 people, 8 people at once, and understanding like when I'm talking to you. This is the language I'm using. This is the energy I'm bringing, right? This is the care that I'm treating you with. And now that's a 15-second interaction, and now I'm going over here to have this interaction being like, oh, let's go. Right?
Yeah.
It's a hard thing for coaches to learn, right?
Yeah.
It's like it takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of reps to get there.
Yeah.
But that's also what I love about the settings we work in, though. I see coaches come so much further, so much faster than we did.
100%.
You know, like I think that we technically and part of that was like working together, and working. We had a good team that we worked with, and I know that I always felt pushed by you when we worked together,
100%.
right? And I don't know if you felt the same way the other
100%.
way, but from a technical standpoint, I feel like we developed pretty quickly, because we were always that was the environment we were in, right? But socially, from an interactive standpoint, I feel like our coaches are coming along a lot faster, and ultimately being more effective, right? Because that stuff is more important to an extent.
Yeah. What I think we're missing a little bit of as a staff is the interactions that you and I were able to have.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't, we were able to double click on the things that were happening on the training floor and have like deep discussions about it.
Yeah.
It's like when I did this deadlift with this person, this happened, and what do you think? Oh, that happened with you too. What did you do? And then, oh, well, I was thinking about doing this. Oh, I like that better. And then like just the back and forth conversation right now, like our staff trains full time.
Yeah.
And it's tough to say like, hey, you guys want to talk training for a little bit?
Right.
Like it's optional. It's not mandatory, but I'd love if you guys want to just like talk shop. And like that was a standard for like you and I at the time. And I think you were my person to go to about that stuff. And there was a very short moment in time where I think when I first started, I didn't have that person. It was really strange to me.
Yeah.
Because I came in as a personal trainer that was obsessed with training, that wanted to talk training, that when I wasn't training, I was reading articles and everything. And like you were already hired there, and you were presented to me as like the established young guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's even younger than me. He's working with the high level athletes. And then I'm like, I spent a few months trying to fish around to like find somebody to connect with about training. And then once we started doing that, I feel like it hit the accelerator on my growth as a trainer. And when I started the business, it's like we did that all the time.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it was fun. I had trainers that liked to talk training, and that's what I looked for. That's what I hired. That's what they liked. And we would talk about training all the time. And I think the growth for everybody from a training standpoint was so fast because we would invest a few hours in that per day. That's the one thing I wish we could somehow do a little bit more of right now. It's like we spend so much time training. There's so many members and there's so many full sessions, and the trainers they're tired after training for 36 hours this week. And I'm like, if I could just get like a 3-hour, like once a week, everybody come together and we don't talk about how many members we have. We don't talk about the marketing strategy. We don't talk about our secret shopper scores. We don't talk about the member feedback. We don't talk about any of that stuff. We just say, hey, what are you guys seeing on single arm rows? It looks like there's a few people that are struggling to do them well. What's the reason? And let's just sit in this for a minute. Let's not rush past it. Let's spend some serious time saying like, as basic as it is, our goblet squats right now, I give them like an 8.5. And they should be a 10.
They should be a 10. Yeah.
So it's those things. I'm like, I missed that a little bit of having like the smaller business or like even just being a one-on-one personal trainer in those interactions.
Because so many of those interactions happen like during training sessions.
Yeah.
It's like, so and so's getting warmed up and we're warming up next to each other and you and I are, problem solving.
Yeah.
Where it's like in the settings that we work in now and at the scale that we do, all right, especially the scale that you do, there's just no space for it.
Yeah.
Right. And we found we've been having these conversations as a team as well. Same exact thing. We just implemented a monthly in-service. We just said we were like, all right, if we need the space, we don't have the space to have these conversations. Let's create the space.
Yeah.
I know you guys are tired. I'm not going to ask you to do this weekly, but the last Friday of every month we're going to meet for 2 hours and just talk training.
Yeah.
Right. We're not just going to throw it into the end of our staff meeting where we're going over the numbers and going over the to-dos for the week and making sure our quarterly projects are on track. Right. Like that's what that's set aside for. We leave a little 10-minute window just for quick problems that need to be, addressed or quick questions that we have. But we're going to do a 2-hour in-service at the end of every month. And, like, the feedback from the team has been so great. And
nice.
Then start to see these conversations starting to happen a little bit more, which is exciting for me because now I'm like, let's go. Like, I got my bug. I'm getting that itch again.
Yeah.
Came by to visit the tent, and I saw you out there on the floor doing an assessment, which – it's been a while since you've been on the floor. What's that been like getting back into it a little bit?
It's been awesome.
Yeah,
so to compound the move, just to make things a little bit more challenging, our person who does all of our assessments, he had his first child. So he's been out, and I've been doing all the assessments for everybody that's coming in, and we're trying to recruit new members at the highest velocity that we ever had before.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do as many assessments as humanly possible, and I love it. I love being on the training floor. I love working with the members. I've been out since I'm set up in my office on the railing of the outdoor of the building. I'm like going in and just talking to people. And in just a couple of weeks that I've been doing it, I'm like going in like, how's your Achilles feel today? I'm like, dude, I haven't had these conversations in so long.
Yeah.
But it is like what I'm by far the most heavily invested in, and I think that plays a role in the success of the business is that it is so product forward. And like, it's such a difficult dynamic because like I know right now, unless I hire someone to be the person to push the business forward and I hire a CEO, which has been a real thought for me at times, like I have to be the person to push the business forward. I have to be the one thinking ahead to the future and be ahead of things like this that just happened.
Yeah.
But I also just love being like put 6 assessments in my schedule and I could just zone out and just work with the person and be in the moment, and I'd be like, oh my God, like what about next week when like this trainer's out? When is the schedule all set? Are we good with? Are people getting in from the wait list? What's our sales script look like? Like all those things that I generally have to worry about. Just being able to zone out and be in the moment it's been a lot of fun. So it's probably going to be short lived.
Yeah.
But I definitely am enjoying it.
It's like The Godfather. It's like every time I think I'm out, it pulls me back in when it comes to the training, right? Like I've gone through ebbs and flows with my training schedule where, I was totally off the training floor for a little while. I'm like, during COVID, before COVID, I was off. I was training 0 hours a week. When the whole COVID thing went down, it was like, let me just get back to basics. Let me start training some people. Next thing you know, my schedule's filled with like 35 hours a week. I'm like, oh, fuck. Yeah. Like, that's not good. Yeah. Like, I have a business to run here. I can't be training 35 hours a week, so you can pull back. And just recently, I was down to like, I like to keep, I have a couple of people I've been working with for a really long time. Mentors of mine, people whose time and that, like, I really value my time with them. Not just being in their training and like all the things that you spoke about, just being like truly engaged, but like they're my friends, right? But I was down to like maybe 5 hours a week, and then I get a call from a kid I trained in high school. He's like, dude, I'm going to train for special forces. You know Mike.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. I saw the pictures.
Yeah. A picture came up on my memories the other day. It's like, here's a picture from 10 years ago today. I'm like, oh my God.
You look way better now.
I know. I had a little glow up, didn't I? Yeah, not bad. I was looking at it. I'm like,
better
damn,
with
man,
age.
I was in rough shape. Holy shit. But he called me. I'm like, yes. Like, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Like, because it's a project, something different, right? And now, like my training schedule now, it's unique where everybody's like a different project, and I like that.
Yeah.
And it just pulls me out of like the day-to-day running the business enough to, fill my bucket in a different way.
Yeah.
And it's been nice. You know, I got to be careful that it doesn't go too far in that direction because you don't have the time to do the things you need to do. I've made that mistake before.
100%.
But it is nice being on the training floor.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I think back to what our schedules were like.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I remember driving down. I was living at my parents' at the time. So I was it was about a half-hour ride from where we were at. I would go do a 6 a.m. and then I would drive to Bernards High School.
Yeah.
Out on the fucking turf, that 100-degree heat, you know, work with the Bernards High School team from 8 to 12. Come back, train 12:30, 1:30,
Yes.
2:30, 3:30.
Yes.
Drive up to Del Val, work with the Del Val team.
Oh, that's right.
5:30 to 6:30.
Yep.
And then I remember coming back and training like Volpe at 7.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
2 days a week,
Yeah.
and then in between was like just basically one-on-one sessions all day.
Yep. Yep.
And I was logging so many hours, so many training hours, and I would look at you and be like, he's like crushing my output.
Yeah. It's so funny. The Bernards days that's my horror story too.
Yeah.
My that's my like top of the mountain work days. So I remember Tuesdays, Thursdays, I'd have to work out in the morning and be done by 5:30 to train at 6, and then I would train like there was 1 year. I'm not sure if you were still there, but there was 1 year that I would shortchange my sessions with their permission. I would say, I could train you from 7 to 7:35, and I'll tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to leave because I got to get the Bernards by 8.
Yeah.
And then I would book a 12. Sue Owens, godsend. I'm like, Sue, I won't be back till 12:20. I'm going to tell you what to do from 12 to 12:20. So I could book at 12 o'clock, and I would go straight through from 1 to 8, 1 to 9 after that. And like similar to now, like time flies. Like I'm at the gym setting up at 3:30 a.m. right now every day, and it's like it's important. One, logistically, we need that amount of time to do it, but I also need to let the team know like I'm going to do everything I humanly possibly can to bring this business back to what it was.
Yeah.
And like I won't let up. So I will be there at 3:30. I will be setting up, and then I will do whatever I have to from 5 a.m. until 7 p.m. And I'm literally doing that all day.
Yeah.
Just making phone calls, doing assessments, talking to the members, whatever I possibly can do. And it feels eerily similar. And the big pain point now, you with 3 kids understand is obviously is that like I have a 7-month-old, and like that's a big pain point of like missing out on some of what he's going through right now in his early growth. And I didn't have to deal with that 12 years ago. So that is definitely a drawback that I'm able to ignore in the moment, but when I get home, that hurts.
Yeah, I guess you just got to trust that it's, you know, the work that you're doing now is setting yourself up to be able to not have to worry about that, right? And it goes through seasons. You know, like there will be times here where I'm just like, everything's kind of running well. Like, all right, like I'm going to spend some time with my kids.
Yeah.
You know, get out of here early, and then other times where it's just go.
Yep.
You know, and right now, and obviously, you know, this is a big move, big transition you guys are going through. It's going to probably be tough for a while. But I'll tell you what, man. Like, you know, we were talking about when we kind of first met, and like I fell into this field. Like this was never a plan of mine. I kind of fell into this career, whereas you were somebody who, like, this is what you wanted to do, right? Like you were somebody, and if I'm misspeaking, you know, correct me.
No, 100%.
This is like this was your path that you were trying to take. So when we first started working together, and your strive for knowledge and all the reading and the continuing education, and your technical training knowledge, like that was the first thing where I was like, I have a lot to learn from this guy, right? But as we got to know each other, it became watching you work, right? Like, and the mindset in which you worked, and I learned a lot from that. Like I remember, you know, we were talking about our crazy schedules. I was working that schedule. I had no problem working that schedule. We were making dirt money, but it's like, at least I'm fucking taking Sundays off, man. Like I need a day a week. You weren't doing that. You were like, oh, nobody else going to work Sundays? Well, that means that there are 14 slots available on Sundays that people are going to want training. I'll do the training on Sundays. That was always your mindset. And you see that now, right? And that's part of the reason, if not a massive, like, if not the biggest reason why your business has grown into what it is, at least in my opinion. It's not just your knowledge, it's not just the skills that you possess, but it's just this drive that I've always admired, and I've learned a lot. And, you know, while I don't think I've gotten there, I think I at least have hopefully taken some lessons from you along the way.
No, I appreciate it.
Over the many years.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. And it's always odd for me to field like that compliment, because like this has just never felt like work.
Yeah.
Whereas like people are like, oh well, like you're just crazy. I'm like, no, I'm very selectively crazy. I'm crazy over this. It's like if you have me taking sales calls all day, I don't know if that's my cup of tea. Like the training aspect, I could do that all day long. And like I force myself, like I'll wake up early and I'll get to work. But now being a business owner, I have to force myself to do that. That's not like hey, let me go create SOPs. Let me go create documents. Let me go see if we have a new location that we could potentially go move towards. And I'll always gravitate towards like, you know what, let me go check out and see what's going on the training floor, see if we can make the product better. You know, like product better. So anything operations wise, it just doesn't feel like work. Yeah. But like a lot of other things do. So it's like, I don't know if I would be like this with everything. And I know for sure if it was another occupation, I likely would not be. But for this specific occupation, and especially as it relates to the operations, it's never felt like work. So it's always been kind of interesting to be like, oh, like you're such a workhorse. I'm like, yeah, but I've never had to like really push through it. Yeah. You know, I never had to be like mentally tough. Like even right now, my alarm goes off at 2:45. I'm like, let's go. Yeah. Let's go bring some dumbbells out underneath the tent. Yeah. You know, I'm like, this is cool.
But I also think that's served your business well. Like, you know, not like always reverting back to the training floor instead of seeking out a new location or, you know, creating an SOP. If you have to be obsessed with the product. Yeah. You have to. I think that's like, dude, man, you and I spend a lot of time with other gym owners and a lot of wonderful people that run very successful businesses, right? But, you know, I think that we've both seen over the years of, you know, interacting with other gym owners that the ones with the best products have the most successful businesses. Period. Right? Like, you can have all the other stuff in check. The best marketing strategy, the best sales script, the best, you know, facility, whatever. It's like, man, if the training's not good, you're going to struggle. Yeah. Because you're going to always be replacing members. Yep. And that is like, you know, we talk amongst the team here. It's like when you are signing up a member, the conversation you are having with somebody is not how can I get you started and collect this first check today. It is how can we problem solve together to set you up to be doing this now, but also 5 years from now, whether here or somewhere else. Yeah. And, you know, I just think that that's the difference between those who have a lot of success in this field and those who don't, right? It's looking at it that way. Looking at it like, I don't want to sign members who I don't think are going to be good fits here or who are going to be gone in 2 months. Yeah. Doesn't help me. Yeah. Definitely doesn't help you. Yeah. So if we can figure out some sort of game plan here that sounds good to both of us, that we feel like we can do over a long period of time together and start to kind of build this long-term relationship, everybody wins. You get what you're asking us for. We get to provide you with what you're asking us for. And, you know, we don't have a member that we got to continue to replace.
Yeah, yeah. That dude, it's so funny because I was talking to somebody about, I'm like, this may be the first time in my career I feel like I have to actually outmarket our business. Yeah. Whereas like I'm like for the first time ever, we're gonna move into this non-ideal scenario. We did a great job of convincing a lot of people to just come try it out. But the circumstance may prevent us from having the type of product that we ideally want. And because of that, we may get a lot of people to leave us. And in doing that, we may have to, for the first time, go all in on marketing our product more so than providing the optimal service. Yeah. And it hasn't happened. Like right now, it hasn't been the case. Like I'm thinking about like where we invested our time, and it was in the programming, in the trainers, and in the members. And we had 4 people cancel out of 425 in the first week, and I expected 30.
Yeah, dude, because listen, I don't care how good the training is. It's fucking hot out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
and some people are driving 30, 35 minutes.
Yeah.
And like those were the cancels. They're like, I tried. It's 35 minutes away. Things are great. I love you guys, but it's just not worth the drive. And I'm like, I totally understand.
Yeah.
100%.
It's amazing.
But there's a lot of other people that are making the drive. And I'm like, it just goes to show, I'm like, even in this circumstance, the product and the people still reign supreme. Mm-hmm. And like, I put together what I think is going to be a great ad. I'm hoping it'll get us a lot of people. But I'm like, it's in ordering my top 3 things that I want us to focus on right now, it doesn't make the list. Because I just don't think it's more important than making sure that we're doing right by the people that we're already servicing.
Yeah. You have an idea how long you're going to be in the tent?
October.
Yeah, October. All right, so
that's the
not
plan
bad.
right now.
That's not bad. So I think like just driving by, like your best marketing right now, in my opinion, is just being in the strip mall, in the parking lot, and people coming in and out of whatever pizza shop they're going to, and just seeing it and being like, holy shit. That's some organized chaos, man. Like that is being done well. You can see it. You do not need to have an eye for it, the way that you and I do, to know and to say like that makes sense. Like what they're doing there. There's a lot of people that are working really hard. They look like they're being guided. Like whatever they're doing. Maybe I'm a little bit scared of the tent, but once they're in that building, man, like I'm in. I think that's going to be. Like it may end up being, the whole tent thing may end up being a really nice
100%
benefit for you. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I'm hoping, and this it's a cool story, you know, that like we're gonna lean into it and we're gonna say like we have this situation that where our building's not ready yet, so we're gonna, instead of shutting down, we're deciding to do this. Like we could have shut down, we could have put everybody on unemployment, we could have just focused on Hillsborough, we could have run a profitable business with just that location, but we decided to do all of this.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of work, and it required a lot of teamwork, and we had to win. Like we had to throw perfect games on all sides. Like the programming had to be great, the training had to be great, the setting up of the tent had to be great, the marketing to our members had to be great, the selling it to them, the constant conversation with them, like everything had to be on point, and like I couldn't have been happier with how it turned out.
God, that first week must have just been like, you must have just been on edge, looking around, being like, all right, what is going wrong? And then when it's working, you're like,
100%.
Is everything working here?
Yeah, dude. And I was, before we started that first session, I'm looking at everything that could possibly go wrong. Like if it rains, if there's a hole in the tent, like what are all the things that can go wrong? And we've had to cancel some sessions, but I'm like, ultimately, I cannot believe how well this went.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at like, what's the foundation of why this is going well? Like it's supportive members that are getting a great experience, and the trainers are doing a great job of working with them. That's the foundation. So I'm like, if we invested time into telling people how great it's going to be instead of making it great, we would have missed out on what's happening right now. And then we would have lost 30 members in the first week instead of 4. So I'm like, I'm happy with how everything turned out, and I'm lucky to have such a great team, and they're awesome.
Well, you developed them. Right?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sure they're awesome people, and I'm sure they would be awesome even without your development. Like I know some of them, and I know they are awesome, but like you set the standard. You created the culture. Like it's very cool to see. Like I have a lot of respect for you and a lot of respect for your business. But seeing you go through this transition and just like taking it and running with it, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, it's wild, dude.
Yeah, thank you. And I mean, you guys here too, obviously. It's like, I think what you and I both see very similarly is that like we want personal training to be seen seriously.
Yeah.
We want the employees to feel like this is a full-time job, and your job is really fucking important.
Yes.
It's really important. It's like you may not be the heart surgeon, but you are the anti-heart surgeon. You're the person that prevents this person from ever needing heart surgery if you do your job well. And it might be difficult for the public to ever see us that way. But if we just do our due diligence and make a big difference in many people's lives, then over time as a profession, maybe we will be seen differently. Maybe at some point it won't be it's a teacher's part-time gig, which it was. I thought it was going to be for me.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be a phys ed teacher, and I was going to work some nights and weekends as a personal trainer, and I would have been happy as shit.
Right.
But like a career in personal training,
I never thought it was
if someone told me that when I was 17, I would have stopped everything I was doing. I wouldn't have went to college.
Right. Same. I did not know it was a thing until I was doing it.
Yeah.
And even when I was doing it, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be good till I'm like 25. But like, what after that? And you start to see the like how it's forming, and you start to see the potential, and you start to see the opportunities. Like, holy shit!
Yeah.
Like, I can do this for a living.
Yeah.
Like forever.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible. That's like, sign me up,
dude. If you told me personally, I remember having a conversation with the head coach and recruiter up at Bryant when I first went to college, and I remember him saying, he asked me what I wanted to be, and I said I want to be a personal trainer. I worked reception at a local gym, and I was like, I want to be with these. Like, this is awesome. What these guys do is awesome. And it was a little bit more of a hardcore gym. It was a natural bodybuilding gym, and like everybody was just so into it. So like the protein shakes, the meal plans were being passed around, the low intensity cardio. Everyone's pedaling as slow as they can on the bike, like super bought into like early 2000s bodybuilding. It was so cool, and I'm like, I want to do what these guys do. And then I told the recruiting coach that. He's like, you don't want to do that. You want to be the business owner that hires the trainers. I'm like, No, I don't. I want to be a personal trainer. What are you
Yeah.
talking about? And like in hindsight, I feel like if there's one thing I want to make sure I have a conversation with my son about one day, it's like I want you to understand the career opportunities well before I did.
Yeah.
Because I had no fucking clue. And if someone said like, what do you think about a fitness business? What do you think about being a personal trainer and then having that funnel your way into mentoring like that could have hooked me. Like you could mentor trainers into becoming really good trainers if you become a good trainer, and then you could develop like marketing systems and sales systems, and you could attract more customers, and your customers are going to love your product because you developed great trainers and you hired great trainers, and then like all of that could turn into a business that could actually make some very good money, maybe way more money than if you decided to go into accounting.
Right.
Like, never thought of that. Like I just wish somebody gave me that speech at 16 and 17, as unrealistic as it might sound. But that's the one thing I want to make sure I'm very clear with my son about, is like, these are the things that are opportunities, and make your own decision. Do whatever you want. I don't give a shit. But I want you to at least know the possible avenues where, like, I wish I'm proud of where I've gotten. You should be very proud of where you are. I think we've fucking done a very good job of.
I could have
personal
never
training
dreamt
business.
this back.
100%.
Back when we were doing one-on-one sessions, 14 hours a
100%.
day. Never could have dreamt it.
100%. Now take us back to high school and imagine that we were able to get a 5-year head start on it.
Yeah.
You know? Imagine we were at where we're at now, minus 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, what could we have built in our mid-20s instead of early 30s?
Right.
And like that's like, as we talk about like the next generation, it's like, and like setting the foundation for people to create a more elite environment and fitness business industry. It's like that's something that's kind of exciting for me. Like I'm excited to see the next 24-year-old that already has a lot of this shit figured out that took me till mid-30s to figure out.
I just hope they work with people.
Yeah.
That's the thing that scares me the
100%.
most about the next generation, is that I hope they work with people.
Yeah.
And they don't try to just go on the internet.
Yeah. Like they take psychology into consideration more so than technology.
Yeah. You know, because like it really does start with the people that you work with. Like, you know, you can create a sales funnel and sell training programs, right? But it's like it's not the same thing.
Yep.
It's not the same thing. You know, I remember when I first told my mom like that I was, I'm going to switch my major. I'm going to go into exercise science. She's like, to do what? I'm like, I don't know, like be a personal trainer. She's like, oh God, like I could see it in her face. She was so like, my parents were the type, like, you know, God bless them. They would never tell me no, like don't do that, but they would ask little questions like, so what do you think like you could do with that degree? You know, shit like that. Like being super sweet, try to be super supportive, but also being like in private. I know they were like, oh my God. But now, like, here we are, you know, they're in their 60s and they're down there on the training floor, like, getting themselves healthy. You know, like, my mom's a beast. My dad just started with us. He just lost a bunch of weight. And
Nice.
It's like it's just, the full circle, full circle stuff there, the full circle moments when I see him down there, I'm like, you know, it's very cool.
Yeah.
And I think that it even, you know, it takes for people need to see it in order to respect it. I was at a dinner a couple weeks ago, and some bigwigs were at the dinner, and so I was talking about something to somebody else, like, oh, you're a physical therapist? I'm like, no, I'm a personal trainer. And they was like, oh. They used to bother me. Whatever. You got no idea.
Yeah, 100%. Similar story with my dad when I was working at Parisi in college. I was a sophomore, and they offered me a full-time salary. It was like $25,000. And I remember it was like, my dad's a successful business guy, and I'm like, Dad, I gotta talk to you about something. It's like, I got offered a full-time position with a salary. I don't even know if I knew what that meant, but I'm like 20 years old, I guess. I'm like, they offered me $25,000 per year. And I remember his reaction was like, he's like, you can't make a living off of that. I'm like, what do you mean? Do you know how many parties that is? But like in hindsight, hilarious. But yeah, like similar situation of like, what the hell are you going to do with the whole personal training thing? Like, and then, you know, years later, my conversations with him now are about like business, you know, and like work ethic, like things that we actually can connect on, I guess, more so now than we were able to then. But like same full circle moment where like a lot of it, like, and I guess from like an insecurity standpoint, it's like trying to prove people wrong about the assumptions they make of you, and like not even saying that's protective of the industry, but it's like I think I could be so good at this that if there are big time players in the field, I could be one of
Totally.
them. I think, and like in early 20s, saying that to people, it was like, I don't know what the financial potential is, and I actually don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna like this job,
Yeah.
and I think I like it so much I'm gonna be really good at it. And when I say really good, I mean like really good.
Yeah.
And if there's ever anything that I'm gonna make a difference in people's lives in, and a difference in my own life, and if I'm ever gonna be top tier at anything, it's going to be this. It will not be accounting.
Yeah.
Positive. It will not be a math teacher. It just won't be those things. But I know for sure that if there's a chance of me being elite at something, it's probably personal training, fitness industry, fitness business related.
Yeah.
You know.
Which you have become, my friend.
Yeah, you as well.
Appreciate that.
Thank God, right? We could have been doing accounting.
We could have been doing accounting. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like you mentioned physical therapists, and that's a conversation I try to have with some of the people that we're hiring, is like physical therapy. I mean, it's a great profession, but I'm like, personal training. I think if we do a really good job industry wide of creating good businesses, we could be offering starting salaries that are in line.
Yeah, totally.
With that. And without a master's degree, but you have to be great. Like that's
Right.
a requirement. You have to be great. You have to have the interpersonal skills. You have to have the core values that abide by what the business needs, and you have to bring like a next level service. And if you do, then why not pay these people good money for the hours that they're going to put in and the service they're going to provide? And
Yep.
then if you do, does that suddenly change some people's opinion of what they want to do for a living? You know?
Totally. I guest lecture at Rutgers every semester to like an intro to exercise science type of class. I don't know exactly what the class is, but go in and I get a raise of hands like, who wants to become a trainer? It's like none.
Yeah.
One. Who's going to be a physical therapist? All right, why? Tell me why. And that's how I start every talk. Tell me why. And they're scared to say it. I'm like, what? Like, please, somebody tell me what. Money. Get
Yeah.
money. Okay. All right. All right. And okay. This is so and so. Let me tell you how much they make. Let me tell you how much my team makes. Let me tell you
Yeah.
how much this makes. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I'll go through and like
Yeah.
I'll not to blow up anybody's
100%.
spot, but I'll give them examples. I'm like, those are just people that I know in Jersey.
Yeah.
Like, forget my friends out in Michigan.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Friends
yeah.
down in Florida. Like, hey, you can make money in this if you are great.
Yeah.
You can have a very successful career in this field, but you have to be great.
Yep.
There is no way that you can be successful in this field financially and not be great.
Yep.
But if you are great, there is a space for you. And there are businesses that can support it, where you can figure out a way to do it on your own, because there's plenty of resources available to teach you how to do that.
Dude, love that. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So, dude, I really appreciate you coming all the way up here during
Yeah.
a really busy time to come and chat, man. It's always good to catch
Anytime,
up.
dude. I
Yeah.
appreciate this. Anytime
Yeah,
we get
thanks,
to talk.
man. Awesome.
All right, dude.
Appreciate it.
I'll talk to you.